As part of yesterday's Christmas celebration, Pope Francis offered his yearly message from the Vatican. Pope Francis emphasized the trouble faced by many children in areas of conflict in the Middle East. And joining us now, Msgr Jim Lisante of Our Lady of Lourdes Church. Msgr, thank you so much for joining us. And first of all, how was your holiday season?
Thanks for having me. It's great. You know, we get to see so many people we might not see the rest of the year, people coming from out of town. So the churches are filled. It's a very encouraging day in my work.
It truly is, and we appreciate you taking time to be a part of our show. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Now, the Pope described Islam as a religion of peace. Do you think this message was aimed more at Muslims than Christians?
I think the Holy Father probably feels like a lot of us do, that it's unfortunate for any broad brush to be used. And there are certainly guys out there in the name of Islam who are doing horrible, terrible things. And it's always important for us when we read these stories, and they are horrific, especially against Christians in the Middle East. It's important to remember that the vast and overwhelming majority of Muslims are as embarrassed by what's going on as everyone in the world. You know, it's interesting, back in the 80s and 90s, there were some Christians who would do attacks on abortion clinics, and I was so proud of the church for standing up and saying, look, that's not pro-life. If you're really pro-life, you protect all life, the born and the unborn. And in the same way, I think many of us would love to see, including the Holy Father, many more Muslim leaders stepping up and saying that this terrible terrorism, this taking of innocent life, is the opposite of everything that any religion should be about, including Islam.
I agree with you. There are a lot of peaceful Muslims out there, but are they doing enough really to take on groups like ISIS? Are they vocal enough in denouncing terrorist actions in the name of Islam?
Well, you know, I want them to be vocal, but I also want them to do something. So I think America has carried a burden for a long time, and I'm happy to see, I mean, I'm sad, obviously, that he was captured, but I'm delighted to see that Jordanian pilot, unfortunately, in the hands now of ISIS. But the more our Jordanian friends, our Saudi friends, and all the other Muslim-dominated countries get involved in actively fighting terror, not just waiting for the Americans to come in and do it, I think the more I'll believe that they really get the message that this is a hurtful thing for the whole world to see terror taking its terrible turn through the activities of ISIS. And, you know, another thing I have to say, I love John Paul II and the earlier popes, but they were understandably very anti-war. I admire a guy like Pope Francis for saying that, you know, there is such a thing as a just war, and the just war is based on a number of conditions, and when you're dealing with invincible evil that is compromising and killing innocent people, you have to take a stand. And I'm glad I'm sure it makes him a target for the crazies in ISIS, but it's good to have a Holy Father who says, look, you know, we're not against all war. We're against war when it's unjust, but when war is just, we have to do what we can to stop it. And how can we allow innocent populations of all religions to be subject to these horrors, both in the Taliban and what they've been doing recently, as well as those who are in ISIS?
You know, Christians are taking on Muslims in the Middle East with strong ties to the Christian religion. But do you believe there is a danger of Christians being forced out of these lands altogether?
Oh, I have no doubt at all. You know, in a country like Iraq, where there were at one time literally several million Christians, because the history of our faith is so deep there, and yet today there are under 400,000, and those under 400,000 are deeply endangered, and they know it, which is why so many of them are joining the refugee population and getting out of the Middle East. The problem is, where do they go? And imagine giving up everything you've known and all of your property and every possibility for the future just to get out of harm's way for you and your children. But if you know that there are people in your neighborhood who are looking to destroy you, you've got to do what you can to protect yourself. Again, to the credit of this Holy Father, Pope Francis has said, hey, world, notice that something terrible is going on to Christians in the Middle East. I want to say, too, and I'm very thrilled about this, that it's not just the Catholic Pope who's saying this. I'm going to do an interview soon with Ronald Lauder, who's president of the World Jewish Congress, and he's been very articulate in saying to his own Jews, saying, look, you know, we can't stand by and watch the Christians get eradicated in the Middle East, because, as we know from past history, if you stand still and watch others get slaughtered, you in turn can be the next victim. And of course, the Israelis have been the target of Islamic fundamentalism for a long time. So I'm delighted that people of other religions are saying we're all in this together. We either stand against evil or we will all be subject to it.
One of the beautiful things in the world is many members of different faiths coming together to take on this challenge. We're going to have another segment with the Msgr straight ahead right here on Midpoint. Keep it right here on Newsmax TV.